Well, it had to happen sooner or later, and what better time than now to make my first music countdown? Because the classic Castlevania series honestly has some of the most kick-ass music in video game history. Almost every game in the series has at least one theme I can come back to again and again and not get bored to death with it. So this time, I'm counting down my favorite themes in the series, limiting it to one per game. I'm judging these songs based on how much I like them, as well as how well they fit the situations in which they play. And despite the fact that this is music-related, you know I can't stay silent through a countdown, so I will be offering up my own vocal commentary on this and any other future music countdowns. So warm up your ears, it's game time! I'm not the biggest fan of the Genesis sound font, but it does have its gems. While Reincarnated Soul is a good track from Bloodlines, it can't top Iron Blue Intention. Considering this is both Michiru Yamanai's first game in the series where she composed and a Genesis game of all things, this one is an impressive piece of work. The composition of instruments as well as the tempo give you a feeling of drive, but at the same time conveys a sense of dread. The latter is especially appropriate considering the tiny detail that World War I is going on. I also have to give credit to its updated version in Portrait of Ruin. The extension continues to push the feeling of dread and despair, while at the same time motivating you to continue your adventure. Again, while a world war is going on. I swear the forces of the night thrive on human conflict. I always feel that a hero's theme needs to convey bravery and determination. Such themes get your blood pumping and spur you on to continue the mission ahead. Leon's theme from Lament of Innocence does the job nicely. Played in the penultimate level of the game, this theme, named after the game's title, fits Leon to a T. This is a man who threw everything away for the sake of saving his love. Abandoning his title, he risked his life to venture into the castle of Eternal Night to rescue her. Most bitterly of all, he failed. His beloved, cursed to become a vampire herself, instead chose to sacrifice herself to give Leon the power to destroy Walter. Now, he has nothing left. Nothing left but his mission, his resolve, and his rage against the night. Can you feel Leon's determination in those piano chords like I do? The driving beat pushing you forward? The vampire killer has been forged and shit is about to go down. And that haunting chorus, along with the strings, also help to convey Leon's state of mind at this point. So many monsters are gonna die. Okay, some of you are probably wondering why this sounds different from Rondo of Blood. Well, to be honest, I feel this is a case of original isn't always best. I honestly prefer the Super Nintendo Dracula X version of opposing Bloodlines to the original Rondo of Blood version. Call it nostalgic bias if you want, but I feel that the Rondo of Blood version of this piece sounded relatively flat when compared to the Super NES version. I just enjoy the instrumentation in this version a bit more. Maybe it's a variation in pitch, maybe it's the system's limitations forcing the sound designers to be a bit more creative. Can't really put my finger on it. Either way, this is a theme that gets the adrenaline pumping. The driving beat and action-filled melody really gets you fired up for action. Which is appropriate since this theme is playing while a freaking village is on fire. Setting aside, this is a great theme for an opening level to an underrated game. Of course, the game isn't as good as Rondo of Blood, but it's still pretty damn good. Hey, I never said I was leaving boss themes off the list. Badass Vampire Hunter deserves a badass theme, and Heart of Fire from Arya of Sorrow delivers in spades. This is the theme that plays during the amazing boss fight between Soma Cruz, the reincarnation of Dracula, and Julius Belmont, the hunter that broke Dracula's cycle of resurrection. And in spite of the game's sound font, it manages to provide some incredible drive. The song is actually a remix of two different themes from the series' past. The first part of the song is taken from Don't Wait Until Night, the theme that plays during the final level of the arcade game Haunted Castle. Eventually, it segues into the climax where the original Heart of Fire from the original Castlevania begins to play. Like I said, this theme is total badass. The melody and rhythm work together to portray Julius as a man who is not fooling around. Don't let yourself get distracted by the manliness, or you're as good as dead. But at least you'll go out rockin' hard. Underrated theme from an underrated game. Darkness of Fear is the game's leitmotif, serving as both Castlevania Judgment's main theme and the theme of the game's stealth protagonist, Aeon. This song is played in the game's opening cinematic, where a handful of the game's characters are showing off. Simon and Alucard are squaring off and being badasses, Maria is being all gothic Lolita, and Aeon's being, well, Aeon. But it also plays during the rematch with Aeon in the complete story mode, which takes place in, where else, a clock tower. From the moment it starts up, the strings and harpsichord join in with percussion to create an atmosphere of tension in the air. It really fits the style of the Castlevania series in its gothic setting with its choice of instruments, as well as the style of the fighting game genre with its high tempo and driving rhythms. There's always time for some kick-ass tunes like this one. Guitar, organ, and swing in a boss theme? In the Castlevania series? Works for me. This is Sorrow's Distortion, the theme that plays when you face off against Albus in Order of Ecclesia. By this point, Albus is being overcome by the power of Dominus, and it's driven him mad. The tone of the piece captures this madness, but also when I think about it, it also carries a feeling of sadness through the melody. Through the combination of guitar and organ throughout the piece, I could sense the emotional turmoil throughout this tragic battle. I'm not sure why they chose a swing tempo for this piece, but I'm not complaining, especially since it feels so unique for a Castlevania boss theme. This is a theme that's fun to listen to and fun to battle to, and it's surprisingly fitting for the emotions that underlie the battle with Albus. To be honest, the name of this song is perfectly appropriate for this situation. I gotta give it credit for that. Brother! here we have another case where I prefer an alternate version of a popular theme to the original version. While Castle Dracula originated in Symphony of the Night, I honestly prefer the version from Harmony of Despair. While the name of the song is Castle Dracula, the song is better known as Alucard's theme. So let me just get this one question taken care of right now. Why did I pick this version of Castle Dracula? 2 words: symphonic rock. The improved instrumentation of the game combined with the addition of some killer guitar chords make for a much better sounding piece of music than the original. This variation on Alucard's classic theme feels heroic and driving. It encourages you to continue into the castle and just kick all kinds of ass. Let no undead stand before your mighty guitar. Let no chest go without having been looted. And make sure you actually work with your teammates. If you don't, you'll regret it. Holy shit. According to Wikipedia, a toccata is a virtuoso piece of music typically for a keyboard or plucked string instrument featuring fast-moving, lightly fingered, or otherwise virtuosic passages or sections, with or without imitative or fugal interludes, generally emphasizing the dexterity of the performer's fingers. In other words, it's the musical equivalent of flaunting the size of one's sword. And let me ask you this. How did the organist pull this off with all of his or her fingers intact? Seriously, the organ is downright insane! Backed up by the chorus, this boss theme begins menacing in its gothic nature and the origins of the franchise. It truly shows Dracula's power and hatred. Later on, the tune transitions into a techno-orchestral blaze of intensity. The strings and percussion pick up and everything pulses with energy. A fitting theme for this battle with Dracula, a toccata into blood-soaked darkness shows both the classic and modern sides of the series. Classic with the organ and chorus, and modern with the techno-orchestral instrumentation that follows. A well-done piece for a well-done battle. Now, if only it played in the second phase of the fight as well. Metamorphosis into Abyss isn't bad though. Okay, as much as technology has advanced since the dawn of video games, sometimes there's a lot to be said for nostalgia. And when it comes to Castlevania's music, Bloody Tears from Simon's Quest is just one of those pieces that sticks with you no matter how old you get. Even with the simplistic chiptunes of the NES, Bloody Tears manages to capture the gothic atmosphere of the series in one simple yet very effective piece. You can almost imagine the organ in the beginning of the theme, the strings in the main chorus, and you can definitely feel the rhythm pulsing with heat and life! This theme has become one of the staples of the franchise, being remixed in many games in the series that followed, from Super Castlevania 4 all the way up to Castlevania Judgment. But it's the NES original that always sticks out in my memory. Maybe it's nostalgia talking, but this theme holds special significance even in this era of orchestras and licensed music. Of course, as awesome as this theme is, it just can't top number 1. Go ahead and take a guess what it is. Go on, guess! But let me narrow down some choices for you with these honorable mentions. Clockwork from Dracula's Curse, a fitting theme for the Clock Tower. Awake from Circle of the Moon, a solid intro to this GBA launch title. Pitch Black Intrusion from Dawn of Sorrow, possibly a better theme for Soma than Ruined Castle Corridor. Invitation from a Crazed Moon from Portrait of Ruin. Jonathan, Charlotte, Jonathan, Charlotte! And of course, I can't forget the eternal classic Vampire Killer from the original. Okay, when I think of Castlevania, there is one theme that always pops into my head. And for those who've followed the series since its inception, you may have figured out what it is. Because throughout its existence, no song embodies the spirit of Castlevania more than Simon's theme from Super Castlevania 4. Just take a moment to let your soul drink in the unadulterated epicness of this classic theme. Feel the organ sending chills down your spine as it reverberates through your cranium. Let the driving rhythm embolden your spirit as you venture forth into the unknown. Let the horn announce your imminent triumph over the horrors that lay before you. It gets better. When you have Dracula on his last legs, this theme once again kicks in. Your adventure ends as it began, with this theme and you, as Simon, ready to kick some undead ass and take names. Nothing can stop you now, not with this theme inspiring you and pushing you to victory. This theme has been arranged many times over the years, from the Genesis to the DS to future generations of hardware. But nothing tops the original. The theme of Simon Belmont, the music of legend, the one theme that gives you the courage to triumph over evil. This is the Song of Heroes. I'm the quarter guy, and now I have a sudden urge to learn the church organ. Don't judge me. Everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. If you have something to say, leave your comments below. I really appreciate them. If you want to see more, click the annotations for my playlists, and click that little subscribe button down there. I'm also on social media, and if you have some extra money and want to support the channel, you can donate to my Patreon. Trust me, I'll make it worth your while. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.